Okay, let's talk about the power of your thoughts and how powerful they are in creating the life that you're living. Welcome to Patty's World, where we talk everything manifestation, mindset, and some lifestyle because really you're worthy of living the life of your dreams. Okay, your thoughts. So powerful. Here's why. You have to understand the law of thought transmission. The law of thought transmission says that your thoughts carry an energetic frequency that goes out and influences the people and the circumstances that show up in your life. Your thoughts, just like your words, have energetic frequencies. You may not see them, but they do. And so if you're defaulting to negative thinking and negative thinking patterns, that is what you will align with in your life. Now, the opposite end, if you tend to default to positive and assume that everything's going to turn out well for you, well, that's what's going to show up in your life. But here, let's talk about how to shift them. Really, that's the point of this video. If that you tend to default to negative thinking patterns, you want to be able to interrupt those and to change them and create new thoughts, which then create new beliefs, which create your assumptions and align you with the circumstances and the people of your life, because your thoughts do carry an energetic frequency. So, if before you got into this or before you understood law of attraction or law of assumption, you were operating, and I have previous videos on this, according to the world of the five senses. What you see and experience in your physical reality with your five senses is what you're reacting to, and that's what your beliefs are based off of. There is this world of energy, of energetic frequency, of vibration, of spirituality. And that's where creation comes into play. That is creative consciousness. So you can create with your mind by changing and shifting your thoughts, your dominant thoughts. Now, understand this, you have about 60,000 thoughts a day. And no, don't be afraid, because not every thought is going to manifest. However, your predominant thoughts, which create your predominant beliefs, which create your moods and the state, the mood that you're in, the emotional state that you're operating out of. And all of us have a baseline emotional state that we operate off of. That will align you with the people and the circumstances in your life. Think about people who are always grumpy or angry or feel fearful or frustrated. And think about people who are always happy and joyful and just a joy to be around. Think about people who are lucky. Their dominant emotional state operates under more positive emotions and vibrations, which are cultivated by their thoughts. So if you tend to default to negative, and I want you to observe your thoughts, start right now, observe your thoughts. What's constantly running through your mind? And I'm talking about self-criticism, putting yourself down, fear-based thoughts, critical thoughts, judging thoughts, worst case scenario thoughts, where you tend to go down that rabbit trail of negativity and, oh my God, the world's going to end and we're going to be taken over by aliens tomorrow. If you go down that rabbit hole, observe it, because I want you to ask yourself how many times it does happen and how much of that you're creating, and you're operating in that very heightened nervous system, that nervous state, and you're releasing chemicals and emotions, and your body does get addicted to those emotions of constantly operating in that very elevated nervous state. I used to operate this way until I learned how to regulate my nervous system. And now my baseline is calmness, neutrality, joy, peacefulness, and I'm a pretty happy person. And I promise you, once you learn to master your thoughts, and it really is just practice, it's like going to the gym every day and exercising any other muscle and working out. The more you learn to practice your thoughts and master them and shift from negative thoughts to positive thoughts or even neutral thoughts, you will change the people and the circumstances, even how people show up in your life. The more you do this, you have the awareness and you can shift a thought. And just the way you default to negative thinking, you can default to positive thinking. It takes practice. So catch yourself, start paying attention to your thoughts. Self-criticism, you want to stop it today. Stop putting yourself down. Stop running that in your mind. Remember, you don't have to react or respond to your external reality. You can create new beliefs and think new things and think that things are always going to work out for you. And so you almost have to create the vision and brainwash yourself into the reality that you want to experience. We only have the present moment. So if you step into that state right now and create images of abundance, of happiness, of joy, of health, of being loved, of feeling safe, of feeling secure, of confidence, and you practice those emotional states, the more you will operate off of them and the more you'll be able to shift your thoughts. So don't force yourself. Don't make it difficult. Just gently nudge yourself. And there's things that you could do. There's things that I do. So if I catch myself in a negative thinking pattern, I can get up and move locations because that'll automatically shift your thinking. You can start parroting off or listing things you're grateful for or appreciating. You can question the belief or the idea or the thought that you have. And is it real or is it nonsensical? Is it something that I'm believing and operating off of a limiting belief that was programmed in me from years ago? Is this really true and is this real? And why do I keep on affirming and validating this negative belief? Because you can change your thoughts, you can change your beliefs, and you can change everything that you're assuming about yourself and the world around you. So you can question and really dissect those thoughts and those beliefs and replace them with positive ones. Create a list of 10 affirmations that you can operate off of, positive affirmations that you can do mirror work around, that you can repeat to yourself in the morning, in the evening, whenever you catch yourself going down that negative rabbit trail, to pause and interrupt that negative thinking pattern. The more you do this, the more you practice this, the more you will start imprinting those positive beliefs, those new affirmations. And when you do, then that is the core beliefs or assumptions that you will be operating off of. That is the core vibration off of new beliefs and new assumptions that you will be operating off of, that will automatically align you with better, not better people, but people showing up better for you, or they fall off, or they show up differently, people treating you better all around, everywhere. You notice that you just feel better about yourself, who you are, and the world around you. And because of that, you're aligning with just more wonderful experiences, and you'll notice the signs and synchronicity showing up in your life. I mean, I had a client who told me she was thinking that she needed a pen. Next couple of minutes, she sees a pen on the floor. And that happens to me all the time. I mean, I can think of someone and they'll call me, they'll text me. I can think of my husband and he will text me or call me. And that is the law of thought transmission. And I want you to test this. I want you to play with it and do it with something that you don't have a lot of resistance around. Now, I actually did this because I like to play with all this, with the energy and all this manifesting stuff. This person that I know, I kept on thinking of the color blue and was wanting them to pair it back to me or say a sentence back to me with the color blue. So every time they were talking in my mind, I'd be like, you're going to tell me something with the color blue. Well, by the second day, they hadn't said anything. They hadn't used the word blue. But then I noticed they're wearing blue, navy blue. And then I thought, and the day before they were blue. For 4 days straight, this person wore the color blue. Which brings me to the point of don't worry about the how, because things will show up in your life in the least possible way that you will imagine. It'll amaze you how things show up. I do also do this with my husband when we're watching TV or we're watching a show, and I think, wouldn't it be awesome if he held my hand? He loves to hold my hand. I love that he holds my hand. And I just start positive talking and rampaging in my mind about him holding my hand, and he'll reach out and hold my hand. And like I said, I could think about him or wonder what he's doing, and he'll call me or he'll text me. So, and also because he's my husband and I'm very aligned with him. But the law of thought transmission is real. I want you to practice it. It's going to amaze you. So you want to observe and watch your thoughts. Stop the self-criticism, stop the worst case scenario, stop the judging, stop the gossiping, all of those things, because everything we put out comes back. It's all energy. And when you're sending it out, it's going to come back. It's the law of reciprocity, the law of reaping and sowing, the law of karma, whatever you want to call it. As within, so without. So stop all that judgmental talking and criticizing of yourself and others and complaining. Once you observe your thoughts and your words, you will notice how much on default you tended to complain, and you'll notice it from people around you. And when you're operating off of complaints, you will align with more things to complain about. So when you start cleaning up all those things, the self-criticism, the judgment, the complaining, the negative self-talk, and you default to positive self-talk, which I do now. I have mantras in my head, and I got this from Abraham Hicks, where I'm constantly telling myself, everything always works out in my favor. Everything always works out for me. Everything is always working out for me. Everything always works out for me. Everything works out in my favor. Everything's always working out for me. And that's what I operate off of. Just assuming that things work out in my favor. We're the ones that attach meaning to things. Things are not inherently good or bad, they just are. And from seemingly good things, we can reap something negative, and vice versa. From something that we can assume is negative, we can reap and find silver linings and positive experiences. We're the ones attaching meaning to things. Therefore, we can assume that everything that shows up in our life is showing us something about ourselves, something about where we're operating as far as our thoughts and beliefs, but also because it's leading us to our desires, to our wish fulfilled, because everything is working out in our benefit. And now I just default to this. This is working out for me. It'll work out in my benefit. I don't have to worry about, because everything benefits me. Everything works out in my favor. Everything works out for my benefit. And I just stay in this mind frame, and I stay in flow, and I stay in alignment. And so I'm very careful about where my thoughts and my words and my internal conversations are going. And like I said, it takes practice, but I'm very good also about directing my attention. And I don't get upset over things anymore. I simply remove my attention and my energy, because it's not worth my time to give my energy and my attention away. I place high value on them, and I'm very intentional about what and who and where I'm giving them. And if it's something that I want to eliminate from my reality, I just starve it of my attention. I don't give it my attention or my energy anymore. And I'm only feeding things that I want to create and draw into my life. And like I said, your goal is to operate out of the state that you want to live off of, which is happy, joyful, neutral, optimistic. Now, I want you to get clear about what it is you want to draw into your life, because most people don't even know. I mean, you can manifest one thing, but I think the end goal, the end game, is to become the person who has everything, who has all the desires, the relationship, the money, the career, the dog, the house, the trips, the looks, whatever it is for you. Get very, very clear about what it is you want to align with and draw into your life. And if you have to write it down, do it. Write yourself a letter from the future version of you to who you are right now, from your higher mind, telling yourself that you have everything you want. And that way you have a vision of who the ideal version of you is. Ask yourself this question: who would I be if I was already living my most ideal life and I was already the ideal version of me? Relationship, money, career, house, family, health. Include everything. Be as detailed as possible, and write a letter to yourself from your future self telling yourself that you already have it. And it's done. And step into that state right now, believing from that place, assuming from that place, thinking from that place, and make sure your thoughts align with a version of you that is the ideal version. Practice this every day. The more you do this, the easier it gets. And before long, you'll see things showing up in your life with ease and flow. And it will be so much fun when you're creating your life by design and intentionally, and not reacting to the world of the five senses. And just, I want to reiterate and reinforce that you really are worthy of living the life of your dreams. You're worthy of having everything you want. You have to believe it for yourself and assume it, and step into the identity and become and live from the person, being the person right now who has everything. You create those images in your mind first. You go into your imagination, you create that version of you and live as them. And every day align your internal conversations, your internal dialogue, your assumptions, your belief, and what you're giving your time and attention to. And you reaffirm and step into the state of the person who is living their dream life. You can absolutely do it. I'll catch you on the next one, everyone. Thank you for joining me on Patty's World.